For a number of years there were no bigger Canadian artists than Anne Murray and Gordon Lightfoot. They both became international stars at around the same time, in an age when it was especially tough for Canadians to do so. They were awarded Male and Female Artist of the Year at the 1973 Juno Awards. She even helped Bob Dylan induct Gordon Lightfoot into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. It is a great honor to say that Anne Murray joins me now live from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Hi, Anne. Thanks for being here.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. You and Gordon go so far back. What were your thoughts when you heard the news about last night?
Well, I don't think I was surprised. I don't think anyone was, because he's been ill for some time. And, of course, I knew once he had canceled those shows, because he wanted to perform forever. I remember sitting with him at the, I think, Canada's Walk of Fame dinner. And he said, "We're going to do it forever, right, Anne?" And I said, "Well, I don't think so, Gordon, but he loved to perform, and he just wanted to do it for as long as he could, and he did."
He really did. I mean, he was performing up until just a few months ago. He really lived by it, you know?
Yeah, he did. He loved it. He lived to perform, and good for him. It was great he was able to do it for so long.
When do you remember meeting him for the first time?
Well, I think I met him in St. John, New Brunswick. Bill, my husband Bill knew him, and Bill was on Sing Along Jubilee way back when, for those who remember that far back. And we used to do Gordon Lightfoot songs on that show. All of his early stuff we did a lot of, and my favorite song of his, although I recorded only one, which was Cotton Jenny, my favorite song was A Song for a Winter's Night, and I remember doing that on Sing Along, but I regret I didn't record it. But I met him, I think, with Bill at a concert he did in St. John, New Brunswick, and we went backstage to meet him. That was the first time, but I remember having seen him on the Country Hoedown or the Tommy Hunter show, or I don't know what it was called way back then. But anyway, he wrote some wonderful songs. Amazing when you start to think about it, because there were so many, and they were so good.
It's amazing. You're right. I mean, I look back, especially you mentioned those early days, Anne, like, all the songs that would have been sang on the Sing Along Jubilee. We did. We did Steel Rail Blues, Early Morning Rain, Song for a Winter's Night, That's What You Get for Loving Me, and all of those songs we did on that show. And the list goes on and on. I mean, there was an era there in Canadian music where there were kind of no bigger acts in the music than you and Gordon Lightfoot. I mean, I just mentioned at the 73 Junos, you two won Male and Female Artist of the Year.
Well,
I saw a great picture of you and Gordon and Stompin' Tom from that night. What do you remember from that time?
Well, I mean, Gordon and I ended up seeing each other. We weren't close friends, but we were certainly friends. And we saw a lot of each other over the years at various functions, starting with the Juno Awards, of course, and then it went on. And he was there with Glenn Campbell, and he inducted me into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, and then I inducted him into the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame. And those early days, the only time we ever saw each other, we were both so busy, was at these award shows and things like that. But our careers were kind of parallel at that time, and that's when the CanCon rules first came out. CRTC rules came into effect, and so people were hearing what they considered to be too much of Anne Murray and Gordon Lightfoot at that time. So we got a lot of flack for that, but it wasn't our fault. We were there, and that's what we were doing. That was our life. So, he was an amazing guy. He was very, very, quiet, and kept things to himself.
I was going to ask about that. Like, what do you remember about him off stage? Like, did you other than the sort of public guy we knew?
Yeah, well, he wasn't easy to get to know. He was very humble, and he was, he didn't really think of himself as anything special at all, and he certainly was. But that's sometimes typically Canadian, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I get the feeling, and I think that's a good thing. And he was a lovely guy, and he was very giving and kind, and but I really can't say that I knew him that well. He was pretty, he kept things to himself.
Did you ever get to sing together? Were there ever jams or hangs where you got to sing and play together?
No, unfortunately, we never did. I would love to say we did, but because I knew every word to most of his songs, and it would have been great, but we were just both so busy.
What was it, you think, that made his songs so special?
There's a talent to creating and crafting good songs, and I think some of it's instinct, some of it you're born with, maybe. I don't know that to be true, because I've never written songs, but he seemed to have. Now, I heard someone talking about him saying that he worked hard at crafting his songs, and I don't doubt that, because it's not, I think Gene McClellan was the type of songwriter that it just came out of him, but Gordon, I think, worked hard to craft his songs, and it showed. They're just so beautifully crafted and so personal.
What did he mean for Canadian musicians?
Well, he was a role model for people. He proved that he was really proud of the fact that he and I, and he mentioned it on many occasions, that he and I stayed at home. And we had international careers, but we stayed at home. And he'd always laugh, kind of giggle about that, because neither one of us wanted to go anywhere. And so he thought that was wonderful. And so did I.
Yeah, he was sort of he was sort of meaningful to you because he, like you, was able to have all this massive international success, but he never sort of forgot where he came from, and he never left.
No, well, he never left. He didn't. He managed to do it with his home base in Toronto, as I did, and we didn't ever succumb to whatever the offers and all of that, and it still worked.
How will you be remembering him today?
Well, just as a good old friend who met up occasionally and had nice conversations and differences of opinion and all of that. But in the end, he was just a good old friend.
I love to hear that, Anne. We're gonna play Cotton Jenny. You recorded Cotton Jenny. What do you which is a Gordon Lightfoot song? What do you remember about doing that?
Well, I just remember it came up, and it just caught my ear, and it was kind of one of those up-tempo kind of fun things to do, and I don't know, at the time, I can't even remember why. I liked all of his songs, but I ended up doing that one.
Did he say anything to you about it?
Oh, yeah, he loved the version of it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he loved it. Yeah.
Well, that's always good, Anne. It's better better than the alternative, eh?
Yes, it certainly is.
Well, yeah. Anne, I can't begin to thank you enough for coming on and talking to us a little bit about Gordon today. And as you mentioned, your old friend. Thanks so much for talking about it. And I'm sorry for the loss of your buddy.
Thank you very much, Tom.
I've been speaking with Anne Murray.
Now we're going to hear Anne Murray's pick. This is the late Gordon Lightfoot with Cotton Jenny.
There's a house on a hill by a worn-down, weathered old mill in the valley below where the river winds. There's no such thing as bad times in a soft southern flame. Oh, Cotton Jenny when the sun goes down and the wheel of love goes round. Wheels of love go round. Love go round. Love go round. A joyful sound. I ain't got a penny for cotton Jenny to spend, but then the wheels go round. When the new day begins, I go down to the cotton gin and I make my time worthwhile to them. Then I climb back up again and she waits by the door. Oh, Cotton Jenny, I'm sore. And she rubs my feet while the sun goes down and the wheel of love goes round. Wheels of love go round. Love go round. Love go round.
I love that song. I haven't listened to that in ages. From 1971, from his album The Summer Side of Life, that is Gordon Lightfoot with Cotton Jenny. Anne Murray picked that song to remember her friend Gordon Lightfoot.